All right, we are recording. So 1, 2, 3. What's up, everybody? Anna Maria here with Confident Closers, and I got my co-host Kevin Jimeno. What's up, Kevin?
How you doing?
I'm doing. And then today we have our special guest. I'm sorry, Dalila Ramos. Welcome, girl.
Good morning. Well, good afternoon. I'm saying good morning. Good afternoon.
Hey, good morning. Hey, it could be good morning or good afternoon, depending on
It's true where you're at, right?
So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Dalila, you are currently with Planet Home Mortgage. You are their business development manager.
That is correct. I am with Planet Home Lending, business development manager, and so I do a lot of liaison work between Planet and the trade associations like NABA, how we met, right? And then I'm involved with like MBA and other organizations, and we are in the midst of spearheading a mentorship internship program within Planet. So I help with that, and
You're just a superwoman.
I wear a lot of hats. So, but it's a great job, and I really am passionate and love what I do. So.
That's awesome. And I was able to completely get that from you when we first met over the phone.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're that type of woman, you know, with that same vibe. That's just really with a good heart. And wanting to just, you know, be able to pass on that energy to others.
Yeah.
I love having you here. I can't wait for you. I know that last time there was an event in Orlando that I attended with NAMA.
Yeah.
We were actually sponsors there, and not Confident Closers, but you know, my full-time job, which is also something that I love. Anyhow, with PRMG. But so I heard a little bit about your story. You moving from Chicago to Florida and the struggle and whatnot, but I know there's a lot more to it.
And more, Jesus.
Love for women to engage with your story, and perhaps so that all of us can learn something from it and maybe, you know, implement in our lives.
Okay. So, and this is personal, right? Like this, you can go back to.
Yeah, talk about your story. I mean, you know, we're talking about confidence here and how we overcome it.
Okay, so let's begin. You know, this is all new to me, and I'm 40 years old. I'll be 41, God willing, in September. And these being so open and raw, like you said earlier, is not always easy. As comfortable I am with speaking in front of people and that light that I carry, it's not always easy, but got to dive into it, right? So my story begins, I'm born and raised in Chicago, single mom. I mean, when I say Chicago, people are like, where are you from? Inner city, like hood, projects, government cheese, Soul Train.
Oh.
I know how to Soul Train and I don't know how to salsa dance. It's so bad. Like,
no way, you don't know how to salsa dance?
You turn me, I'm gone. I'm like, oh, you know, but I can pop and lock like you don't know. Yeah. But let's see. So grew up like that, and I had a great childhood. I always tell I think my mother all the time, had a great childhood growing up. You know, had that 80s. I was born in the last year of the 70s, grew up in the 80s. So it was a really good time to be a kid, right? I think the first traumatic experience for myself started it back in when I was 4, 1984. And this is the part actually I don't talk to about, because this is the one where it's not physical, but you can't see it. Like nobody knows too much. So here we go. So at the age of 4 years old, it was summer. We were going to see Gremlins. Y'all remember Gremlins, right? Our mom was getting me dressed to go see Gremlins, sits me on the couch. She went to go get dressed herself, and I was a curious little girl. My mom left her cigarettes and smoke, like her matches. Look at Kevin's face. Look at your face. And so, of course, I started to play with it, and I dropped one of the matches on my dress. I had a lace dress on, and within seconds it engulfed. So my mom, by the grace of God, threw me in the shower, but it was too late. Like, I have about 30 to 40% of my body completely burned. You guys would never see that, but it's 3rd-degree burns. So it's yeah. And so I spent about like weeks and months in the burn unit in a hospital in Chicago. And so I remember like starting kindergarten, wheelchair, like that was like the first traumatic experience. And that's, so I have never, because it happened so young, it was summer of '84. I do not have any memory of myself, like physically not being different. Do you guys understand like that? Like, I've always had traumatic scarring, and there's always been something different about me physically, right? Mm-hmm. See me and people stare at me because of the amount of scars or the deformity, or there's something wrong with her, right? So I don't remember how I looked. So.
Right. You've always,
I've always, always looked different. And so by the grace of God, I overcame that, and I credit my mom and my grandmother. My grandmother's the most influential person. Oh my God, that lady is amazing. I had the best grandma ever, and she's still around, thank God. And she really, really took care of us. And then 12 years, that was '84, 12 years later, fast forward, still had a great childhood, high school, no matter what, still had a good childhood, good family. I've always felt loved, right? And then fast forward 12 years later, 90?
You're outdating yourself over here.
Yeah, I don't care. 1995, I get diagnosed with cancer. So I don't know if you notice, like in the screen, my left arm is completely different. So I get diagnosed with a bone cancer called Ewing sarcoma, and that was a doozy, right? So in the beginning of 95, I was a pom-pom girl at a high school in Chicago, and I just thought maybe there was something, I did some kind of routine that really messed me up, but there was like something wrong with my left arm. Lost a lot of weight, was tired at that. And when you're a young girl, you don't get tired at that age, right? So we went into the emergency room, and they diagnosed me as something else, didn't catch it. 3 months later, because by that time there was a ball size, like a golf size, protruding out of my left arm. They right away, like the minute they took an x-ray and put it up to the light, you can clearly see there was something wrong. And I remember that date. That was, it was June like 29th of 95. And by July 3rd, I was already diagnosed and hooked up to chemo. So I did 2 years of chemotherapy. Radiation. I've had my left arm, the cancer ate my humerus. And so I was put on a donor list. And so I have a cadaver bone. So thank God I got to keep my left arm, right? Because like, I don't think I'd be cute with one arm. I'd be like, I'd be at the cup games like this or something. So, but yeah, I lost a lot of mobility, range of motion. It's really there for cosmetic reasons, like the physical. It doesn't do too much. I don't have a rotator cuff, so like I can't raise my arm past a certain I guess like range of motion. Yeah. And so with that, I mean, but by the grace of God, I'm still here, right? I'm still standing.
Yes.
So yes, but I have two metal rods holding it in place. I have like a bunch of screws. And so imagine trying to go through the airport. It's not easy.
Oh my, I didn't even think about that, girl. And you travel a lot.
Look at Kevin's face. You have no idea. Like, seriously, like, travel so much. And so I had that, it's so funny because I have to get that clear thing really. I really got to get up on that. But every time, you know, that thing that you have to put your arms up and stuff, right? Well, I can't put the left arm. And so I always got to get the hand swabbed. And sometimes they understand like the medical terminology. When I tell them I have an orthopedic arm, they're like, you know, I just like, ugh. So I constantly.
Yes.
Yeah, extra with me. I'm already used to it though, because I've been like that since this all happened in 1995. So I've been like that for so long. Again, you know, I don't see it's over 20 years with the arm. And I also really love my arm. I really do. Like, you know, it's like, it's, I don't know. I feel like I'm Nemo and shit. Like, you know, oh,
you're good. No worries. Remember, this is being us, authentic.
Okay. Yeah. So like, I feel like I'm Nemo. Like I swim in circles, you know, like, cause the other one.
I so much like love you. Wow, girl.
Yeah.
That's been something. And
yeah, it was true. You know, and again, I credit my grandmother so much, right? For I can't even begin to thank that lady. I love her with all my heart for everything. My mother too. I love my mother, but my grandmother, man, she did. Oh my God, I love her so much. And
can you take me to a story or a memory that you can share? Because you've mentioned your grandmother a couple times, and there must be something that you can share with us that can give us an example of the type of influence. And I imagine there must have been hard times or moments of doubt. And how did she soothe the soul, I guess?
You know, I grew up very in a Christian. Our faith plays a huge part. I've never not had any time in my life where we were not a faith-based family. It has been implemented since birth, right? And she was crucial with that. And so I remember during those times, and this is something where I've come to realize within my, now that I'm in my 40s, but like around my mid 30s into my 40s, where during those traumatic events in my life, my grandmother just stepped on in and the faith just took off. And one of the a lot of my, during chemo time, when I got diagnosed, I don't remember some things, like chemo, just, you don't remember a lot of things. And so, but I have this memory ingrained in my head, like it was the first round, and that first round of chemo, when you get it is harsh. Like, I don't wish that upon anybody. Chemotherapy, it's harsh, right? And so I have a visual of me like waking up in the hospital, and like it was dark, and it was the oncology department, but it was the children's oncology department. And she's in the corner in the light, just like praying and just reading the word. And I just knew, like, I knew by God's grace and mercy and by my grandmother, I just wasn't, I was going to be okay. Like I knew I just knew she was going to make it better. She was going to be okay. It was going to be okay. And I love her so much. And she currently has very advanced dementia, and she doesn't know who I am anymore. And
yeah.
And so I miss her so much, you know, and she's in Chicago, but I will be forever grateful for everything she did, how she just took care of me. Like up Saturday mornings, it was cleaning all those figuras, you know, like from like dollar. Oh my God, like why do they have so many figuras, right? But like, and then listening to like Billy Graham in the background, like that's how I was raised. And so, I mean, I will forever be in debt. And when she's home, I know that I will see her again. I just will forever be in debt to her.
Yeah.
It's crazy how there's certain people sometimes in our lives that they could just come into a room and there's like automatic peace.
Yeah. And she is that peace, you know. So I always say I have the best grandma ever in the world. And I know everyone has their grandmas, right? But like she really,
but ours is the best, right?
yeah, mine is the best, right? And she, apart, you know, when I got sick, she also did a lot of research. She altered my diet, and I do, again, going back to being diagnosed, you know, I do believe my faith was critical, the doctors as well, but my diet, she changed it. And I do believe with faith and diet, you really can overcome any kind of disease like that. I'm a believer, God forbid, and this is something I do tell people a lot, God forbid I ever relapse or something happen. It's been more than 2 decades. I will not go through chemotherapy. I won't go through any like that. I'm going to go completely holistic and really just do that route. But I don't eat pork, you know, like no, unless I make it, like no donuts, like that real heavy processed food. I don't eat that. And she really altered my diet, really did.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dalila, with all these challenges growing up, and I can only imagine, and I appreciate you being honest and sharing those things, because I'm sure those were challenging times.
Yeah.
How difficult has it been, or was it for you? And at what point did you feel you had the breakthrough, whether young or later on in your life or in your career, where you just basically said, this is who I am, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do what I got to do to make things happen? Like, did that start in school? Did that start when you started working? When do you kind of feel that?
It took, so here's where, Ana Maria, when you said when I made that move, it took me moving to Florida. I was solo with kids, no family down here. And I took a leap of faith, because one thing about my family is we don't leave. They just, as great as my mom and my grandmother and my families, it's only Chicago. Like nobody leaves. And I left, right? And for them, it was like, why would you leave?
Where are you going?
Where are you going? I just always known that there was more out there. I didn't want to live, and mind you, I'm living in projects. Like, it's not like you guys, I grew up in suburban Chicago. I didn't know. I mean, it wasn't, I just wanted more for myself. And so I took that leap of faith, and that first year was super hard, which is what I had mentioned at that NAMPA conference. It got to the point where, and I'm a prideful chick, like I'm a prideful girl. Like I won't say anything sometimes because I refuse to give up. But it got down to that first year where I didn't have like food, like money for food, or I didn't know where next month's rent was gonna come from. It got like that bad, guys. But there's where I made a promise to the Lord, and I remember I have kept this promise to this day. There's more of that, and well, it's going to be 9 years this summer. And I just am so grateful because I was removed from my family. I had to depend on only him, and I had nobody. And that just, I grew. My faith grew. Everything just skyrocketed. And so I really encourage people, young people I meet, to really take that leap of faith, because if that worst case scenario, I could have moved back, right? What's the worst that can happen? You go back and you're like, okay, well, back to eating government cheese, which isn't bad, by the way, but but I tried, right? Yeah. So, but no, I did, like, I encourage everyone, leave your family, go out there, take a job in a city or a state that you're unaware, go explore, And man, it'll test yourself, your strength, who you are. And if you're faith-based person and you rely on that, man, it will like take you to a whole nother level. And so because of that, because I did that really big leap, I'm not scared. Like I can pick up and go whenever I want. It's really cool. And I know that I'll be fine. Like the Lord has my back. And I always think personally, like in my head, I'm like his favorite. I feel like I'm his favorite. I'm his favorite girl. So he's not gonna let his favorite girl like mess up. So yeah.
Cool. Kevin.
Now let me ask you a question. After all these challenging times from a little girl till now we're living in a moment of major uncertainty.
Yep.
A lot of people are facing some scary realities or possibilities. Yeah. You've been through a lot. What does that do in moments like this for you? Like, are you like, well, no problem, we'll get through this because I've gotten through worse?
Yeah, I mean, I don't misunderstand me. I have my little moments of like, damn, I can't really go out but I know at the end of the day, it will be okay because I know where my trust in, who's my provider, who is my foundation and my rock. And I'm going to take that to the end. If this is how I go home, I'm good. Like, I'm going to be okay at the end of the day. But I do think this is a huge wake-up call. I try to learn from anything negative or any traumatic experience and like, okay, how can we grow? How can we learn? Let's not do this again. This is a huge wake-up call. Like, this is a pause. Like, yo, y'all need to wake up and really realize, number one, who is the most important thing, priorities, right? That's huge. I think this is a really big wake-up call, and it gives us a little taste of what other people are having to deal with, because we're spoiled as Americans. Like, I've never, even though I'm Spanish, I've never lived in a third world country. Like, my grandma's like was living here. I don't experience that. That's why hence I don't know how to salsa dance. Never experienced that kind of stuff. So this is new for me too. So
I got to share with you, I can totally relate to the peace within, just simply because I know who's got my back. And
yeah, absolutely.
I am the Lord's as well. So, but what would you, obviously, you are a woman of courage, a woman of, persistence,
mm-hmm.
and you're a warrior, and so I believe because of your experiences, and tell me if I'm wrong, right, that damn, like all those experiences have built your backbone, right? And you're also like you're having the people around you, your influencers, which was your grandmother, your mom, right?
Yeah.
Really, giving you the love and building that foundation and those values and that core around you,
mm-hmm.
To confront fears, to confront insecurities, to confront, self-doubts or to whatnot. Like what, I mean, I think that for when we have that security about who we are, it's a little bit easier. It doesn't mean that we're immune to the fears, or because they still come up and we self-doubt ourselves, but
absolutely,
how can we encourage, or perhaps like or give like a path, or when you were confronted with this, like how did your thought process, like what did you think, and then what was your choice? And
for what, like one of the
challenges when it was moving to Florida and then maybe finding
mm-hmm.
yourself, because I know we can talk about like, yeah, well, I just had my faith and I know that God was going to take care of me. However, that's our spiritual side, but and the human
mm-hmm.
surface, right? Like our thoughts are still coming, and our mind, it's still talking, and our mind, it's still, you know, telling you,
Yeah.
but what
But
this?
what if? Yeah, absolutely.
So, like, how did you handle that, and what was your process in that?
I mean, so when something does come up, words are powerful. Words are super powerful. The Bible talks about the tongue having the power of life and death. And so I truly believe that. And there are moments, yeah, I'm in the flesh. I am human. I'm a girl. We get in our feelings. Oh man, my Atlanta, right? We overthink things. And so I just sometimes I'll allow myself, I'll give my time to like wallow in that for a second and really be in that space. And I'm not gonna lie, like there's times my go-to place, does anybody have a go-to place for crying? I have a go-to place. Like when I want to cry,
I'm thinking.
so I cry in the bathtub. I cry in the bathtub. Like I like baths and I cry in the bathtub, y'all. I'm not gonna even lie. Like right? Sometimes with a little Jesus juice, which is wine, you know, I'm like, right?
Yeah, okay.
So I have a go-to, like Kevin's like, this chick is crazy.
No, you are human and you are
like,
authentic.
I do.
I love it.
I'll allow myself, I'll give myself like that 20 minutes, that 30 minutes. It might even be a whole day. But you know what? I wake up the next day and I do. Like I go back to, I'm like, wait a minute. Like I beat cancer. I'm a burn survivor. Like I got good hair. Like, you know, no, this is not. No, I'm not going to allow this to take me out. And so it's what I literally go back to that. Look at everything you overcome and it just changes my perspective and I just move forward and I just go through it. Right. And I know that's not easy for everyone. So it's not, you know, people, sometimes I'll try to encourage people and they'll be like, well, I didn't experience that none of that. Like they get upset that they have like no experience like that. I'm like, trust me, it's a good thing. You don't want to be at the airport. Like
you don't want my experience. Yeah.
You know, so, but there is I don't want to say like a negative or a bad part to being strong, because I have like a internal survival mode that's really fierce, right? Like I go into a survival mode. And I remember I have a little brother and we're really close. I'm 40 right now, he's 28, so we're 12 years apart. And I remember he made a comment one time about just the expectations between us. And because when I was going through chemo, my day, check this out, I would go to high school and I would then go get my chemo downtown at Rush Hospital. And then from there, because I wanted a car, like I'm still a teenager. I didn't care if I didn't have hair or eyebrows. Like I still wanted I was a teenager. I still wanted a car and to do things. So I would get my chemo and then work at Dairy Queen for 4 hours. All while like, that was my first job, was Dairy Queen. I'd be bald headed, but you know, you would get your ice cream, right? And so, so that expectation of people is sometimes high.
Yes.
Expectations are high of people. And I struggle with that. You know,
dare you.
It's like, I'll never be you, Lila. That's what my family calls me. Like, I can't be like you. Like you are, I mean, he's like,
however, you know what? I gotta share something there because, although different experiences, I've been a survivor my whole life.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you're mentioning that, right? Because our expectations or the way we look at things is like, you just do. Like you take act, like you just go. Like, you know,
yeah, absolutely.
Either you're stuck or you choose to be like, all right, what do I need to do? And let me move forward.
Yeah.
For forgot my whole point of that. But anyhow.
Expectation, the level of expectation. It's just like, hi.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Your brother feels like he can never live up to you.
I mean, there was a moment because him and my mom and my brother were going through their issues, and I'm that go-to person in my family. Like, I live 5 states away, and these people call me with their problems. Like, if I have a private jet, be like, okay, I'm on my way. No, I don't have no private jet. But somehow, by the grace of God, like, I'm that person. I'm a fixer, you guys. Like, all truth, I'm that fixer. And I don't know, like
I think your story and the fact that you're still standing here is hard to not see you and say, wow, if she went through everything she's gone through and she's still open, let me gravitate, let me go to her, let me, everybody wants a little bit of that secret sauce.
And to me, it's not like a secret sauce, guys. It's just like,
it's a choice.
It's a choice. Yeah. There's nothing. My faith is strong. I will tell you guys that. And I know I meditate in the word every day. My prayer life is really strong, and I communicate with him every single day. And I ask him to be light and salt. And I think when you meet me right away, Ana Maria, you know who I represent right away, right? I think you get that, because I never hide that. Now, I'm not huge, like, I don't call myself like a Bible thumper, but you'll know right away who I represent. And that's strong. And that's honestly, that's like my secret. My secret sauce is that it is. There's no
Jesus, that's it.
Yeah, it's all it is my everything, which is Christ. And and I also, but I want people to know that, like, because where I come from, I come from like the hood. I mean, so I'm a Jesus thug, because like Jesus, but I'll still punch somebody if I have to. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep. I love it.
I think you gotta drop the mic right there, because I think after hearing your story and after hearing really what gets you through every day, there's not more we can get into at this point.
Yeah.
That's inspirational. I mean, wow, I just feel I'm kind of like, wow.
Yeah.
I love it. I really respect you coming on this episode, girl, and just being raw and sharing your story, because so many people out there don't have the courage or to share with others. And so I know that this story will speak to many and will definitely make a difference. Like I say, nothing that happens in our lives is taken for granted, right? Like, everything, it's for a reason. We just never know what seed we're going to plant or what seed we're going to be watering. And so thank you, Dalila. I really
You're welcome. You're welcome. This was fun.
If people want to contact you, how can they get in touch with you?
So I am pretty much on like all social media platforms. I'm very open. Dalila Ramos on Facebook, on LinkedIn. That's a big platform for me. Dalila Ramos. My IG account is Florida, like FL and then LYLA 917. So Florida Lila. And I am very, like, my phone number's out there.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm really public. I think you Google me, I'm like the second Dalila Ramos that pops up and stuff like that. So
awesome.
Free.
Laila, hold on. I'm getting you on my, because I don't
think we're connected. It's FL and then LYLA.
The first one, you're on the beach.
Yeah, that's me.
Tacos Familia Mortgage Life.
Yes. Oh, then you guys, and then Kevin, if you don't know, like, my thing is like Jesus and tacos. So I love tacos. Like, it's so
she's the Taco Tuesday queen.
The Taco Tuesday thing. So every Tuesday I do a taco video, and I don't share it on my IG, but definitely on my Facebook and on LinkedIn. And I have valuable content, and I eat tacos, because I think, like, tacos are just Like,
You got to put this on your IGTV, and we can have another show about that.
oh my God, I'm telling you. Yeah.
All right, girl. Well, I really, really appreciate it. Super excited for those of you who have had the opportunity to tune in and listen to Dalila's story. I hope that you are encouraged and were able to pick up anything, even if it's just one nugget to help you through your everyday struggle or once in a while struggle for that matter. So with that, we will see you guys on the next episode, and just have an awesome rest of the day. Thank you.
Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Don't hang up.